let me ask you this because I'm curious. If I were to ask you based on a conversation at a bar, at a coffee shop, whatever it might be, who you are, what would you say the answer to that is?
Who I am. I would say I am a creator.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
I'm many things. I don't know if you saw my profile on LinkedIn, but I started as an aerospace engineer. But I have huge passion in selling, creating and selling something I've created. So um, never stop. In fact, Jack Boy's Stout Bakery is not the only company I have. I recently, about 2 years ago, started another company, which is a tech company, to help in-store retail to sell better and shoppers to shop smarter. So I'm always creating. I would say, yeah, I'm a creator. I love
okay.
solving problems and create things to solve the problems I see.
Interesting. Well, as an aerospace engineer, for the origin of, I mean, like, come on, you got to be solving problems and you got to be good at it. What have some parallels been between that, the aerospace engineering, which is fascinating, and what you're doing now? How have you kind of taken that and transitioned it into what you're up to?
Um, well, I think the commonality is that in engineering, you always use your creativity and your curiosity to solve a problem, right? And so I guess that part of it, the creativity actually kind of like, you know, overgrown in Jack Boys and what I do at Jack Boys. Yeah. And then, trying to get the customer initially, setting everything up as a business, it's challenging and it's a problem, so to speak, right? So that problem solving part of it is very interesting as well.
It's a cool combination of things that you're up to. It's fascinating. Let's get into Jack Boys a little bit. Would you think that that would be the best route to take this down as opposed to the technology company? What do you think? What would you prefer that we talk about?
Um, we can start with Jack Boys and then we'll go down to how the other tech company got started because it is related. It is driven by that.
Perfect. Okay, so tell me about it. How'd you start it, and then what solution does it provide?
All right, for Jack Boys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So Jack Boys, back in 2007, there was a huge um, dog food crisis where thousands of dogs got poisoned
Mm.
from dog food, either from China or ingredients from China that was in the dog food. So, out of fear for my own dog, Jack, that's where the name comes from, Jack Boy, we call him affectionately. So I started creating his own dog food and his own treats.
Mm.
But the treats went really well, but then the dog food, because it is complicated, you gotta have the right mineral, vitamins, fat content, protein content. So I stopped doing the dog food, but then the treats did really well. My friends started buying them, my engineering friends, they started buying them. So I'm like, okay, well, there's something here. So initially we started as just selling the mix, the baking mix for the treats, as opposed to just the baked treats. And then I went to a local grooming place and asked like, hey, can I put some of this products on your shelf to, on consignment just to see how it goes. And later on, we sold a few, and then she's like, hey, my customers really want instant gratification. They don't really want to go home and bake. Can you make something and then, sell it here? So I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I can do something like that. So before I know it, it became like from little basket of treats to a whole treats bar to a cookie case, and then it just went from there.
Cool. I like how you found out who has access to your target audience and then went and introduced your product to where they already are instead of trying to create the customer yourself. How'd you know
Yeah.
to do that? Because you didn't have marketing experience. How did you know to be that strategic and leverage who has access to your target audience as opposed to trying to get
Uh,
customers yourself?
I don't know, just I guess, well, I do have an MBA. So even prior to
Well, that
that,
helps.
so
That helps.
kind of that
Yeah.
the basics. Yeah, and then even in the engineering world, I was already a technical manager. So, I was already thinking that way. But I have been selling since I was like 7. So
Ah, natural
yeah.
entrepreneur. What about the success that you've had with it? What's been as a result of, that initial launch?
So it went really well, and then we started approaching more and more grooming places, grooming spas, and we went from one store to second store, and then we were in almost every grooming place and dog boarding place um in town and even the next town and so on. Later on, we started our own storefront, and then along the way too, while we started our own storefront, we started wholesaling. So at one point, we were wholesaling to TJX Corporation, which is TJ Maxx, Marshall, Home Goods, even their
Hmm.
Canada divisions. And then Gelson's, all the Gelson's, the whole full chain, a few um, Albertson stores like Vaughn's and Pavilions, Bristol Farms, Lazy Acres, and then some dog spas through distributors. So we got picked up by a large pet supply distributor as well as
Wow.
wholesalers. Yeah,
What was your
yeah.
best year in terms of gross revenue as a result of all these JV partnerships?
Oh gosh, that's been so long. I can't even remember. Probably I would say 2016, 2015. Yeah.
Okay. What was the number? Or are you gonna hide it on me? Are you
I'm gonna hide it.
you're gonna
Yeah,
hide it on me? Yeah.
the last
Ballpark
time
it.
the last time I disclosed it, I kind of got into a little bit of trouble. Not in a bad way, but people kind of expect, something different that it's not right. So
Okay, okay. Well, if it was right, all right, I won't push it. But I'm curious though. Now you got you whet my appetite, and then you leave me without the treats. Speaking of what you're selling, all right, we can move on from that. What about this transition from 2016 till to now? What did that look like? Why did you say that you had to remember? Why isn't that a current thing? What happened?
because as you were actually deep in it, time just goes by so quick, right? Um, So that's why I have to remember. And along the way too, during that time, we started another storefront. So the whole second store took a lot, out of the whole team as well. So it's a combination. It's a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So what about the transition to the tech company? How were they related?
Oh, right. So let's see. It was about the beginning of COVID, actually, but it wasn't driven by COVID. It was just because I saw a bottle. Well, I'm always into tech, right? That's my background. And so I started taking machine learning classes too. So I got a
Hmm.
certificate course from Stanford online, and so got that certification. And then I was looking into how I'm going to, um, I guess, use my knowledge, this new knowledge to grow the business. And then one day I saw Topo Chico, the sparkling water brand,
Yeah,
Topo
yeah,
Chico.
yeah.
Yeah, they actually had a campaign to celebrate their 100 years anniversary. And what it was augmented reality where you scan a QR code and then you hold your phone over the QR code and then it execute their screen on your phone, and then you held over their label and an augmented reality of the history of the company, a video of it pop up. It just, went on. It was really nice. And I thought, hey, I want to do something similar as promotion for Jack Boys, off our label. We've been around for a while, so I was thinking of doing a campaign like that. So I started looking to companies to do that. And long story short, the companies that I found, it either cost way too much for just one campaign, and not only that, it took a while, like at least a month and a half to 2 months to get it put together. And then it was like somebody have to download an app. Even if it's QR code, it's still like pretty clunky for my customers. And then I thought, okay. And then I found some other like DIY type of website where you can just do kind of like a Photoshop software you can do yourself, but the deployment was really clunky as well. It is just having somebody like myself with a tech background, still I found it very hard to deploy and use it. So I thought, there got to be a better way to do this. And I thought, I can create this. So I started coding and I started creating the platform for it. So 6 months later, I created this new tech company.
Hmm.
Um, and it's called Gosha. So it's like, like, oh gosh, like when you are
Right.
surprised, you're like, oh
Yeah.
gosh. So it's like gotcha, but it's like gotcha. So it's like surprising you. I'm impressing upon you. So
I got
so
you.
that's yeah. So Gosha is the new company that was created out of that. Yeah. So
Hmm.
initially is to give this capability, this tool for small businesses to create their own augmented reality experience, to help sell their products, promote their company, um, market. So that's how that company was started.
Interesting. What have been some creative applications that you found in terms of the company using augmented reality for their marketing campaigns? What's been the
Yeah,
coolest
so
one?
the very first thing I did was we did a scavenger hunt at the Jack Boy stores. So basically we hit virtual coupons
Ah,
over
interesting.
over several product labels. And then
Hmm.
And then we invite our customers to come in and then just hunt for the coupons. It ranges from 5% off to 50% off. So of course, everybody wants to find the 50% off. So our customers would just came in and then start scanning uh, the products on the shelves to try to catch that, kind of like Pokemon Go. So
Ah, yeah, yeah.
uh, to
Interesting.
catch that coupon,
Huh.
50% coupon. So it was fun. That was one of our most fun application. And then we launched a few other ones, similar ones. We did one at a local brewer. So we had fun there too. And then just some personal family application like Gosha over your family pictures,
Hmm.
your dog pictures, and then you scan over your dog's pictures. A video of your dog playing will pop up. Celebrating your dog's birthday will pop up. So it's kind of like everything in line with Jack Boys as well. We use it for that purpose. Yeah.
Okay. Do you license it to marketing companies or to just like general businesses to be able to use in their companies, or is it mainly just for dog kind of products and services?
So it's an open source software. It's an app, anyone can download it. So, but right now we are focusing on the beauty industry. Since then, we kind of pivoted into where we find that's more, I guess, parent application. So we pivoted to the beauty industry because now we literally transforming the beauty products on the shelves, like in Sephora,
Hmm.
into virtual kiosks. So you scan, say, I don't know, like a bronzer off the shelf at Sephora. Um, it turns into virtual kiosks where customers can see a video AR of how to use and how it look on you. And then once they
Hmm.
tap on the screen, it would bring them to a virtual try-on. So they can
Wow.
actually virtually try on the makeup on their face.
Huh.
There's a lot of AI behind it, but face tracking and whatnot. So put on makeup before you buy, try it because since COVID, nobody wants to use the tester in the store. And then it's not practical to put
Hmm.
all kinds of color on yourself as well, right? Even if you want to use it. So it's a really good, big benefit to the stores. And then also you could find more product information that's not apparent on the shelves, and also reviews and ratings for that product.
That's so cool. I love how you're allowing the customer to see what it's like, experience what it's like to be a client before they
Mhm.
actually purchase. You know, Ray-Ban does the same thing. I bought a pair of glasses and you can see the virtual try on. And what I love
Uh-huh.
about that is exactly what you're doing. You're allowing the client to step into the new identity of the person who wears this product. And then they're more likely to purchase it because they've tried it on. They kind of have ownership of it a little bit. And
Yeah.
so it's fascinating. You did that with the makeup industry. That's huge. And you can do that online as well. There's a real lesson to be learned there in terms of having your client experience and identify with the product that you're selling before they have to pay money for it. It's
Mhm. Yeah.
brilliant what you did. It's very, very cool. What about
Yeah.
the fact that you're making these huge partnerships with, say, Sephora, for example? How did
Yeah.
you go about making that happen?
So because it's an open source, anyone can input content into the products. So as other brands, we actually have users inputting the content in there.
Oh,
Users putting content in there, we put content in there. So it's not so we are like a channel for influencers mostly to share the information, the content they got from different brands in Sephora. Um,
hmm.
we are working to get the contract, but right now we are generally focusing on being a marketplace, open source for shoppers.
Oh, okay. So what's the vision? Where do you see it going in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, we are going to disrupt the whole in-store retail. So we're
Mm,
starting with
mm.
beauty, but in the future, you walk into any retail stores, no longer you have to search on your phone for certain information, reviews or ratings on any products you're looking at anymore. You just have to pull up your phone, tap Gosha, open up Gosha, just like you would open up Yelp, right? So similar to Yelp, you go on Yelp and then you try to look for the best restaurant. You find out what restaurant reviews, ratings. You know, you do the same thing on in-store products on the shelves you're looking at. Instead of searching, you just scan the product and you get the product specific curated information for you. Yeah.
Wow, it's cool. It's a nice idea. I picture it in a restaurant using it on the menu, for example. You can scan each meal and see what it looks like in front of you, and
Yeah.
you could play around with that. Kind of, this is a silly example, but show them eating the pasta, for example, or something. I don't know. You can play around with different applications in terms of allowing the client to see themselves using the thing, and then also getting the reviews. Whereas before they had to trust the waiter's opinion or the store
Mhm.
clerk's opinion, but it's not customized to them. That's another thing is you can kind of build up a profile of what somebody likes and then only offer things or kind of give a suggestion. Yeah, based on what you've bought before, you're more prone to like this as opposed to that. And so there's a kind of a customization tailoring process that gets
Yeah.
involved as well. It's such a cool product. How do you
Yeah,
see?
you got it.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
In fact, like for example, last year we were working with a few brands in the produce section.
Hmm.
And then this company they are supplying the mushroom to Albertsons, Gelson's, all those big grocers. And so with our tool, you scan it and then a recipe, a video of how to cook certain dish with that mushroom would pop up. So to give shoppers
Hmm.
idea. So when you know how to use or cook a product, right, the ingredients, more likely you get inspired and you would buy it. So that's the kind of benefit that Gosha is offering brands as well. And not only that, it solved the problem of we call it sustainability, meaning like both in the any in-store industry, in-store retail, right? Um, Especially like makeup, when you try it on, you kind of reduce the waste of buying something and then, it sits there or you return it because it doesn't work out for you. It doesn't, you think it will look certain way and then it's like, oh no. So the virtual try on to give you more information, how it would look on you. Even if it doesn't have a virtual try on, you can get the information the right information, you can make a good decision whether to buy or not. So that reduces the waste products are going into the landfill because you made the wrong decision, or you return it and then end it in the landfill. And then as far as other retail products, um, marketing material takes a lot to get to the store shelves. So for example, the store shelf talkers that you see in any of the, grocery stores or retail stores, it actually takes a lot more than people actually realize. So what it happens is that, you got your marketing agency, created, print, send it for approval because it has to be approved by the retail store buyers, right? Like how it looks, the size and whatnot. And then once it's approved, you print it. And then once it's printed, you got to distribute to all the retail stores that your products are in.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and I want to let you know that I've got a free book that you can get if you want to tap into more of these resources. And you can get that for free at kylesbook.com. Back to the podcast.
That's a lot of coordination, a lot of time, a lot of resources,
Yeah.
go into it. With Gasha, everything is digital, it's virtual, it's done on our platform. So you do not even need to get approval from any buyers. You do not need to distribute it. Everything is done on our platform. You click a button once you got your videos or your launch or your coupon, whatever you want to market, launch. You click one button, put it all in there, and then it's on your product is your shelf talker on the shelves. Whatever it is on the shelves is your shelf talkers. You don't have to distribute anything else.
It's so cool because you could have a sales pitch that's kind of hand and cloned inside each one of the scans. So if somebody scans it, they get the best salesperson, the best sales pitch for that individual. Maybe you could even have the AI customize it in real time to them eventually. And you've
Yeah.
got like the perfect salesperson that's walking the client through making a decision if they're going to purchase it or not. And I can see why the stores would love it because you're helping their clients make more purchases based on if you have a produce, for example, you show the recipe, the grocery shoppers are more likely to buy the other things in the recipe that are suggested, as
Mhm.
opposed to before they wouldn't have had the thought of buying those things. Same with the
Yeah.
makeup, like, oh, what goes with this lipstick? You might also like on the other side of the store, the mascara that goes with that, right? And so you can have kind of upsells that are embedded with the suggestions. Kind of like
Exactly.
how on Amazon you see like most people that bought this also bought these things, right? It's that kind of a thing, but it's in store and it's happening in real time. It's allowing for all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. It's a cool product. I like it. What are some
Yeah.
online applications for it? How can we, if somebody has an online business, whether it's consulting, e-commerce, whatever, how can we include something like this to be able to get the benefits that that grocery store owner would be getting, for example?
So we do offer online service to create virtual try-ons on their website if they don't already have it. So we do offer that service, but our main thing is for in-store marketing. So there's a lot of online widgets, tools out there. We are not, we can do it, but that's not our focus. Our focus is in-store retail.
Okay. Well, yeah, right. And so there's all kinds of applications and it's not necessarily unique to the technology. What I'm talking about is something that you can use and leverage to improve any sales, whether it's an e-commerce store or whatever. You can leverage augmented reality in general to create a more immersive experience and have the clients really step into what it's like to own that before they have the
Yeah,
opportunity to purchase it. That's where I think the
yeah,
power of it is. There's a lot of powerful components to it, but really the allowing of the customer to step into what that's like to have it. It's a
yeah.
powerful lesson there for sure.
Yeah,
So,
for example, like if you're in Home Depot or Lowe's, right?
right,
The
you can
store,
see
the
the end
store is
result.
so big, right? And if you want to find more information about a certain product, where are you going to get help, right?
Yeah.
So, and all this, imagine all this paint, all this, grout, machineries and tools, right? It just sit there and then you can read, right? And then you can pull up your phone and then search and find YouTube video and stuff. What if all that is cut out? You just pull out Gosha, you scan, and then a video of how to use the products there. You don't have to call any assistant from, you know, in Home Depot or Lowe's because it's so big, it's hard to even find a help, right? So, but it helps the retailer to sell, it helps the brands to sell, and it helps the shoppers to shop smarter and get information faster.
Yeah, and then it also helps to save on employee costs too, because you don't have to have employees down every aisle down the Lowe's, for example. You've got virtual employees, and it's right on trend with the automation that's going on in terms of the future
Exactly.
of how you, so it's like it's right on cue with what they need right now.
Mhm.
For self checkouts, that kind of a thing, it's right in tune with that. You can have the entire experience and way better than what it is now. You don't have to deal with some kind of grumpy employee who's having a bad day or spilled their coffee on themselves earlier. You have the right from when they walk into the door to the checkout process completely optimized and also maybe personalized. And that's a big component of it too, because you can personalize. Let's say you scan a 2x4 in Lowe's and you select what you want to be building with it, and then you can have that pop up in front of you and see the different kinds. If you bought this, it would look like this as opposed to that. It's a huge service to clients as well. So it's a
I
win-win.
like how you think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. It's a win-win for everybody. My mind's going crazy with all the applications for it. It's so cool. What I love about it is the potential for an automated salesperson explaining the
Mhm.
benefits tailored because there'd be a platform or a profile on the platform, right? So it kind of understands their preferences and then say, well, based on what you have or and you can upload maybe pictures of your house if you're going to Lowe's beforehand and say based on the dimensions, maybe you think about getting the 2x3 instead of the 2x4 because
I like
your
that.
your fridge would stick out an inch if you didn't get the 2x3 instead, and it saves a lot of mistakes and a lot of thinking and having to do it yourself. Such a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
idea is augmented reality implementation in general.
Yeah, I like that. And then not only that, like for example, for the brands itself, right? We can actually, our platform will be able to tell the brands uh, at what store, at what time, which SKU got the most engagement. So
Mhm.
everything data is right there for them too.
Wow, which can be leveraged in all kinds of ways that we can't even fathom right now with AI moving
Yeah.
forward. The data is going to be incredibly valuable for them. Such a
So
cool idea.
not only we using it to, make the shoppers experience better, like everything you just said, right? Make it more convenient, offering them the options that they, don't even know that they have, make their life easier. We're also giving the brands better data so that they can give better offerings to the shoppers.
And then not offer things that people don't want. They don't know that they don't want them because they don't have the data right now. It's very, very
Exactly.
cool. What's a
Yeah.
question that I should be asking you, but I'm not asking you. But if I were to ask it, would kind of get some gold in terms of leveraging augmented reality in any business.
Um, I well, that's a good question. I actually don't have anything in mind right now. Um, I would say augmented reality is not new. It's been around for a while, right? So the question is maybe why now, right?
Mm, mm,
So, I mean, we're not the first people who does this. Um, it's been around at least a decade, over a decade. There have been companies that have that capability open source for anybody to create their own AR. Like, like I mentioned earlier, that's some of the companies we look into to help create, but it's just not friendly, not cumbersome. What we have done too is that we actually um, launched it and then observe the human behavior of shoppers, right?
mm,
Like a lot of the ones that it's, like even Topo Chico, the companies that they launched their campaign through, of course they have the money, but regardless, it's almost like a gimmicky type of marketing. You scan a QR code, you held your phone over the QR code, you launch it, the screen view, and then you see the video. But that is only for geeks like myself would actually see it. I would wonder how many people actually saw that QR code. Oh, augmented reality, let's try it out. My bet is that's not a lot, especially ever since I, deep dive into this industry. I realized that not a lot of people know what augmented reality, the general public, I would say maybe
mm.
80% do not know what augmented reality is. But So why has it not been, mass embraced? So I look into it, and it has a lot to do with the human behavior. It's just not how people interact with QR codes. Um, People are busy, especially in stores. So we study the human behavior while they're shopping,
Hmm.
they're going through their lives daily. And the reason why now it's the time is our technology actually allows it. Before, without 5G, it's just way too much data to even render. So we have 5G now, more connection, internet connection. And then our phones, our devices has the capability now ever since like a year and a half, 2 years ago with Apple launching the M1 and then subsequent better chips. Um, the rendering it's enabled, right? Before it,
Hmm.
no phone before that can even do augmented reality. So with the technology, the infrastructure with the internet, and then the devices with the technology improvements, and then human behavior. Now people are used to using their phones to shop. Everything comes together. This is
Hmm.
the right time, the perfect time to embrace this technology. We feel like we're riding the wave to disrupt retail, in-store retail, because people want it. People want more information when they shop online. That's why you see everybody walking around with their phones searching. Um, we cut out that search part. We offer the information up exactly how they want it. Reviews, ratings, could be pricing, and then, how-tos, and then virtual try-ons in the makeup world.
Yeah, and it's nothing new, like you're saying. It's just not been embraced yet. I think like 4 or 5 years ago, there was this wine company called 18 Crimes. I think it was 18 Crimes. They had an
Yeah.
augmented reality on their bottle. And so you take your phone, and I think you had to download an app or something at the time. It was more clunky than what you can do now. But you take your phone, and it had a face that was on the bottle. And I don't even think it was a QR code. I think with the app, as soon as it saw the face, it started to animate that picture of that individual telling the story of how this wine came to be, fitting the theme
Mhm.
of the 18 crimes. So it was like a
Mhm.
cowboy with a revolver, and he was showing and explaining how it came to be and why this wine as opposed to others. And little things like that can make all the difference. And what about the future of it? Because you're right on track as well with, let's say, the Apple the headset Pro, or the Apple Vision Pro that just came out too. And so you're right on track with that. How do you see the future of it playing out in terms of people wearing glasses, or what?
No, I don't see the future people walking around with glasses, especially retail, right? So I think it'll still be, people using their phone. The phone apps will be even better and faster. I see probably even more better models, AI models. So you pick up even more specific information, more curated information specific to the users. I mean, it can be scary for some people, it's like almost like digging so personally into their lives. Um, but it could go both ways, right? But I would see the future, it'll be faster, better information. Um, as far as the glasses, in real life, people walking around, I really don't see it. It's mostly like for folks at home, in your office, stuff like that. Contact lenses,
Uh,
AR contact lenses are coming up, right? I mean, there are
wow.
companies really making them. So I would see, I can see that, being embraced, but not widely. Again, AR, just that simple technologies, it has taken so long, right? Over a decade. Um, I feel it's a slow process, but I could be wrong. I mean, look at iPhone, right? Within 5 years, everyone in the world has a smartphone since it was launched. So,
Yeah.
um, but I feel in the future, people understand it more. Um, Technology and connectivity and the infrastructure will be more, I guess, um, created in a way, come together in a way that it makes it easier and faster.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The glasses would be so cool though. And contact lens too, whatever. The way, like, imagine you go into a store, you hold up a 2x4 thing of makeup, and you're like, you instantly, without having to take your phone out, start to see it. I mean, like, it could be trippy too. You get it, I don't know. I can see where your hesitation is in terms of people widely accepting it, because it would be kind of weird. But then again, the thought of an iPhone would have been weird 15 years ago too. So who knows? But the thought of holding something up and then instantly seeing the reviews pop up, the recommendations based on what you purchased before, how that kind of it relates with it, and the
Yeah.
actual implementation of the product, or the use case, or the showing of what the kind of like a mirror image for the makeup, for example, instantly taking place. Like that would be such a different shopping experience. And it might be something that saves the retail shopping experience in general, as opposed to people wanting to shop on Amazon a lot. That's something that could really change the way that people perceive
Yeah.
going to the store. It's a lot more convenient. It's a lot more fun of an experience. Kind of like going to
Mhm. Yeah.
Disneyland just to buy some perfume or something, you know? And that's another thing is I wonder if we can take it. This might be a little difficult to comprehend, but imagine taking into account other senses, other modalities. So there's a like for perfume, as I said, imagine a scent being somehow maybe neural linked into your brain, and it's almost like you're smelling it without having to spray it. I don't know. It's interesting. We don't know where it's gonna go, right? It sounds bizarre right now, but who knows, right? So it's fun to envision it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, retail has been done the same way for centuries,
Yeah,
right?
forever.
Decades, centuries. And, it's still very traditional. I mean, here and there, people start implementing a few things here and there, like Topo Chico, just for marketing purposes. But how about the real application, right? The real application to make shoppers' life easier, to
Yeah.
make brands sell better, shoppers getting the right information, getting the right help in stores with, the instead of trying to wait and grab somebody for information, you get the right help right there on your phone. So we are changing the way people shop, getting information in the store, making it more fun too, better experience, you more engaging, you connect with, digital data that's already out there, right? All the influencers putting out all this cool information on how to put on makeup, how to cook a certain dish, right, with a certain thing. But they're all online, they're all, digital. It's time to link it. It's time to
Mm,
get it on physical products. I envision every product in retail will have a layer of digital information over it.
mm. Such a cool idea. You can see it instantly taking place because there's so many wins involved. The store wins, they get more sales, their clients are more educated, less likely to return something. The clients win because they get more information, maybe personalized information. They don't have to try it at home and then maybe take it back. So there's a win-win, and that's just a few of them. We've gone over lots in terms of upsell opportunities. It's very, very cool. I can definitely see it being heavily implemented in the future. So it's awesome, man. What else do you have to add to this? It's such a cool conversation to have the visionary experience, kind of walking me through what the future of shopping could look like. What else you got
Yeah.
to add?
Um, let's see. No, it's going to be, I would say, as a founder of the company, it's going to be, and even to any founders, right? Anyone going to either start a small business like a dog bakery, Jack Boys, or a tech startup. It's always a journey. I would say, it took us a while too to find the right market, the right fit. It's just all about trying. I mean, the how I envisioned Jack Boys in the beginning is not how it is right now.
Mm,
It's
mm,
completely different. It's driven by, the market needs what people want, the customer wants. Um, and then with Gasha, a year and a half ago, how we started it, the basic vision is there, but the approach, how we doing it, how we getting to the vision, um, 4 or 5 years, 7 years vision, it's the path is different. But, you know, the bigger vision has not changed. We are still doing the same thing with the same missions, but we're listening to, you have to listen to what the market tells you, what the reaction is, and then just keep, innovating.
Right. And the AR gives some sort of a feedback mechanism for clients to be able to give you that data to make decisions and pivots based off what the clients are doing and saying about the product. So very cool.
Mhm.
It's a full circle kind of solution that I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be fully implemented in the future. So there's something to note there,
Yeah.
there's a trend that you can kind of hop onto once you start to flesh out the opportunities with it. So very awesome. Athena, I appreciate you for being here. Anything else you want to add before we kick this off?
No, I'm good. Let me ask you back any questions you have for me at this point.
That's a good question. All right, here we go. The question I would have is, how is your visionary process kind of expounded because you're a visionary, you're clearly a visionary. How do you visualize something? What's the thinking process look like? So if you have an idea, what is it a vision that you have? Is it kind of a feeling? What's the internal process look like or feel like or experience like?
Um, that's a very good question. I would say it's both. It's almost like, I see it instantly and then I
Hmm.
get really excited. Like, hey,
Hmm.
there's something here, right? And so I would get really excited. But, I've been through this many times and long enough to know that, to know myself, like I get excited about ideas all the time. I got ideas all the time. So what I would do is like I'll let it, sit for a little bit, let it, stew a little bit, and then if the idea still excites me in a week and I
Hmm.
think about it every day when I wake up, and that's when I know it's something that worth pursuing, putting more time into, looking into it. But yeah, it's a feeling, and it's almost like something that nags me and it wouldn't go away.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah.
It's a part of you realizes this is going to be done. Maybe I can be the one that does it. And there's something very cool about that. So you see it. I do the same thing. It comes up in an instant. It's like a picture tells 1,000 words, right? So you can only think, I mean, I can only think auditorily so at such a speed, but the images can come up and then you can kind of flesh out what that would look like, the implementation of it. Is very cool. And then you count on the kinesthetic feeling, the excitement that you get from it because of
Yeah.
based on what you saw, and then you can kind of walk through the process and then adjust based on what the market tells you. What about in terms
Yeah.
of an MVP? Do you create a prototype or some sort of a basic version of it and get feedback based on what the market thinks?
Yeah. So, I mean, something like this is within my capability, right? So I started coding it. So I started coding and then playing around with it and then just, start going out in the world. Like, I mean, even right now, I go out to Sephora and start scanning products and see how it looks, how it
Hmm.
feels, how, friendly it is, how fast it is. So, it's all within my capability, that I could just quickly code something up and test it out. Um, just like Jack Boys 2, right? Initially, I have an idea, there's a probably gotta be a better kind of treats as opposed to something that sits on the shelf with all kinds of, crap ingredients in there. So I would make something and start, testing with my friends' dogs. Same with Gasha. So it's something within my capability, I suppose. I guess work on your strength, right? Whatever your strength is. Um, yeah, I forgot what was the question. Sorry.
Me too. I think it's time for another coffee. I
Uh,
love it. It's such a cool thing. And you tapped into something interesting there, which was the feeling of it. You said, see what it feels like. And allowing it for makeup, for example, if they only, and a lot of people don't have the visionary ability to be able to visualize what it would look like on them. And it's difficult for us, right? So even for us, so you can have it given to them with the AR and then experience what it feels like. before they buy it too, which is huge. There's a
Hmm.
massive feature there in terms of the feeling that you can give people before buying it. Very
Yeah.
cool. I love it. So anything else
Yeah.
you got to add before we kick this
Uh,
off? Such a cool
Fun,
idea.
fun fact, there are people actually scientifically proven that they cannot think in colors.
Right. And there's people that can't think in vision in visuals as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. And then you can give that to them, which is
Mm.
something fascinating. You're augmenting their thinking as well as well, the reality is based on the thought. And so you're augmenting the vision, which it changes the way that they experience their reality, which is
Mhm.
it gets incredibly deep there very quick. It's very cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. I mean,
So I guess the last thing I would want to add is that, I want to invite your listeners to check out Gasha, play around with it,
yeah.
give us feedback. So the app is out there. Of course, it's, once you open the app, it's all for the beauty industry. But there is a little secret button at the bottom that it says, feeling brave, and then it opens up to the whole world, meaning
Mm,
any products, any categories, including like pet supplies, arts and crafts. So
mm.
yeah, I invite your listeners to check out Gusher's app, play around with this, give us feedback. If you're influencers, it's a cool tool to play around with it and see what you can do, attach your content to the physical world.
Yeah, and has the potential to go viral in terms of influencers as well. My friend sent me a TikTok the other day. I don't use TikTok, but he sent it to me, and it was a video of a QR code on a grave, and he scanned the grave, and then it showed a beautiful, heartwarming video of the couple dancing, of the life that that individual lived, and that's the power of AR. You can leverage that with whatever your product is, and in terms of consuming and selling. So
Yeah.
huge, huge applications. Yeah.
Yeah, so QR code for us is old technology. We're moving beyond QR code. I mean, think about it. If you stick QR code everywhere, you got to print it and then you got to stick it on
Yeah.
there. For us, we use image recognition. That's totally AI. And
Hmm.
image recognition is something else there
Hmm.
the whole algorithm. So you're not going to deface the tombstone with it. We're just going to use image
Wow.
recognition, yeah, and
Hmm.
execute that AR.
Beautiful. And so that answers another question is how does it look in the future? And yeah,
Yeah.
image recognition. Amazing. Seriously amazing. So cool. Athena, thank you for being here and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
pleasure. It's such a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time as well.
My pleasure. It's always cool to connect with another visionary and see where your mind goes when you think of the future and how you see things evolving. So I appreciate it.
I
And yeah,
I look
definitely.
forward to the podcast.
I'll let you know when it comes out for sure.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. We'll talk soon, okay?
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.